In this video, I will be telling you how to go from being broke or close to broke and working upwards to a better path in life. Now, I will do this by giving you a story as an example. This is a real case example that has occurred over the last year, and this is not a one-size-fits-all. So use it as a model to find your own way of doing it. So this is a man called Kyra, and this is what he did. He said, "Last November, I was living in a 98 Ford Escort working graveyard shifts from 7 to 11 and going to school in the morning. So I started flipping stuff and recycling, and I'd rummage through trash cans for the rest of the day. By January, I had flipped and sold these stuff." So what he means by that, most likely, there's a lot of different ways of doing it, which are actually really lucrative because the margins are so high and people don't care because they're just selling crap. Or it's just like you find it for free. One is to sell it on eBay. Another is to buy it on Craigslist, sell it on eBay, or vice versa, and so forth. But he did this, and by January, he was in a brand new car. And from there, he decided to start being an Uber driver. So if you don't know what Uber is, it's this thing in the US where if you have a licensed car, you can drive people for free. Well, not for free. They pay you to drive them, and it's actually quite profitable for anyone with very little skills. If you can drive, you can do it. And he did this 16 hours a day, and from there, in his free time, he went downtown to continue selling stuff to flip. By May, he graduated from flipping completely. And went to weekend flea market booths and basically started a box truck service. And now he has a 2015 SUV and is just killing it. So the basic idea here is not exactly to copy the same thing he did. And the reason I say that is because different people have different gifts and talents, but it's to illustrate that you can't have excuses. Some people can do exactly what he does, and their gifts are in a similar vein, but they're lazy, or you catch them watching 2 hours of TV every day, or whatever else. So realize, what can you do, and how can you build up? This man started from the bottom. And it's kind of cliche, but he worked his way up. He started by flipping stuff. And honestly, apparently I've been told by some successful flippers that it's actually very lucrative because people selling stuff at garage sales and stuff like that, or on Craigslist, they just want to get rid of it. So they're selling it for dirt cheap prices. So basically you take that and then you flip it. And he worked up from there, and he got enough money to buy a decent sized car. He started driving Uber. From there, he worked up to this and that and this and that. Now, let's say you're not rock bottom right now, and this is something I think I use myself. Oftentimes, I feel myself pulled in a lot of different directions. Like, oh, if I devote the next 6 months to learning this, I can make another, $500 on the side flipping stuff. But then I gotta be like, no. You have to really concentrate on what you want to do. Because for me, I know that I can do much more than that. I'm capable of much more. And right now, I'm not, desperate for money. If I was desperate for money and broke and dirt poor, that, that will require some urgency and compromise. And I would just go to what I could. However, if I'm not, what you can do instead is really set out a plan. It may not be a crystal clear plan, but you can realize, okay, what do I enjoy and what do I want to be doing in 5 years' time? So if you have a more clear plan than other people who are really confused, well, what you can do is say, okay, I want to be a computer programmer, or I want to work for a tech startup, or I want to, be a investor one day, or whatever it is, a rocket scientist. I want to do this in 5 years, and that would be something I would actually enjoy doing. I want to play video games for a living. That's much tougher. It's highly competitive. But what do I want to be doing? What's the lifestyle, generally speaking? And how do I work towards that? So if you want to be a comedian like Jimmy Fallon, and maybe you want to do talk show hosting one day, that's a really hard goal, but you have to start working and moving towards it. Other things can be distractions that might pull you in different directions. If it's a necessity, like you need the money now, or you can't find any other ways to pay for yourself, then yeah, go ahead and wait tables, go ahead and flip things, go ahead and be an Uber driver to support yourself so you can pay for food so that you can continue on along your life path. Otherwise, start working towards that goal by finding baby steps that will move you towards that goal instead of being distracted. So instead of saying, I want to flip stuff, say, I want to get into comedy school, or I want to get in the inner circles of top comedians, and I want to rub shoulders with these people. How can I do it? How can I start hustling and moving towards that direction? If it's for business, if you want to be like a top business person, then maybe you should be spending more time and following that interest and learning about business and so forth, rather than working at McDonald's. Although, technically a lot of things are business. Everything's technically business in certain ways. So arguably, it could still help, but maybe it's better to find something that could help you more, like an internship at a business or a startup firm or whatever. So hopefully this allowed your juices to start flowing. And again, I have other videos on figuring out your passion if you're more on a confused state. Thanks for watching. Again, don't take this advice as end all be all, because a lot of people do that. They say, I'm the expert, this is how it's done, and there's no other way. I like to stay humble. These are just my interpretations while I am going along this journey as well and figuring things out. So I could be wrong. I could change my opinions as I go. So keep that in mind, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.